Hi, I'm Karen Quinn, co-founder of TestingMom.com. Is your child going to take the Wechsler Preschool and Primary Scale of Intelligence test? If so, you might also have heard it referred to as the WPPSI, or if it's the newer version of the test, the WPPSI-4, or if you live in New York City, you might have heard it referred to as the ERB. In New York City, that's what people call it because the Educational Records Bureau administers the test. But the test they are giving is the WPPSI, which is essentially an IQ test for very young children. The WPPSI is a verbal and performance-based IQ test that's often given to assess for gifted programs and private school entry. It's administered to children ages 2.5 to 7.5 by a psychologist, and it takes 45 minutes to an hour depending on whether or not all the subtests are being given. For each section of the test, children start out with easier questions, and they keep going until they miss 4 or 5 in a row. For many years, we've been working with the WPPSI-3, but in the fall of 2012, the WPPSI-4 is being introduced. The tests are quite similar. However, 2 new working memory subtests have been added to the WPPSI-4. Bug search and animal coding are now going to replace the WPPSI symbol search and coding sections. They've also added a cancellation supplemental subtest, which is similar to a subtest that's on the WISC. Illustrations on the WPPSI-4 have been updated as well. And now, processing speed measures will rely less on fine motor skills because children are working with a bingo dauber instead of a pencil to mark their answers. So let's take a look at a few questions that are kind of typical of what you might find on the WPPSI-3 or 4. Here is a matrix or visual analogy question, which is one of the most common types of questions found on any IQ test. The child must decide what the relationship is between the figures on top, then choose an answer that goes in the empty box that will create the same relationship between the 2 figures on the bottom. Here, webbed feet are to a duck as bird's feet are to a bird. In this picture concept question, the child sees 2 or 3 pictures in 2 rows. He must choose one picture from each row that goes together. In this case, the key and the lock go together. With a picture completion subtest, the child is shown a picture of something with a critical part missing. She must identify what is missing. In this example, there is no screw to hold the scissors together. If your young child is taking the WPPSI and you'd like to learn more about the kinds of questions on this test, visit us at the web address listed. There you can immediately access our free ebook, The Testing Survival Guide Pre-K to 6th Grade. This guide not only explains the different types of questions that are on the WPPSI and other similar tests that children take, it actually gives you 40 free practice questions you can try with your child. So visit our webpage now to access your free guide and sample questions. I'll be waiting for you.